The Torah portion, Bo, brings us to the dramatic moment of the Exodus. The plagues reach their end, and Pharaoh finally breaks. The doors are open, the people are ready to leave. And then the Torah adds one quiet but astonishing detail. It says, and a mixed multitude went up with them. The term in Hebrew is Erev Rav. Not only the Israelites left Egypt, others did as well. People whose names we do not know, people with different backgrounds, with different histories, and different spiritual languages. Freedom did not happen in isolation. Our liberation created a movement, and that movement drew others in. That single verse changes the entire story. This past week, we marked Martin Luther King Jr. Day, remembering a leader who understood something essential about freedom. Dr. King taught that freedom for one group is not freedom at all. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Liberation that excludes is not liberation. It is simply a shifting of who holds power. And last week we also gathered in our synagogue to listen to reggae music and to learn about Rastafarian culture, a spiritual movement deeply shaped by the Hebrew Bible. A movement that heard in the Exodus story not just an ancient story, but a living truth. A people crying out under oppression, a God who hears, and a journey from bondage toward dignity. Why does the Exodus story resonate across millennia, cultures, and continents? Because from the very beginning, it was never only about us. At the same time, Parashah Bo is very clear about something else. Freedom requires boundaries. Before the Israelites leave Egypt, they are commanded to mark their doorposts with blood. That image becomes one of the most enduring symbols in Jewish life. The doorposts, the mezuzah, the threshold between inside and outside. Who belongs in this home and what values are protected here? What story is being told within these walls? Judaism is not boundaryless. We sanctify space, we mark time, we place a mezuzah on our doors to remind us who we are when we enter and when we leave. And that is precisely what makes the mixed multitude so important. The Torah does not erase boundaries in the name of freedom. It insists on them, and yet those very boundaries do not prevent others from walking alongside us. The doorpost marks identity, not isolation. It tells us who we are without closing our eyes and our hearts to those who stand beyond our door. The Exodus story holds these two truths together. We know who we are and that we do not walk alone. The Torah could have told a simpler story. It could have said, the Israelites left, full stop. Instead, it insists on this complexity. Redemption is not neat. Movements towards freedom attract others, and when chains break, more than one group feels the possibility of hope. Freedom, the Torah teaches, is a shared journey. This is why the Exodus becomes the moral backbone not only of Judaism, but of so many struggles for justice. Enslaved Africans in America sang about Moses. Civil rights leaders quote Pharaoh and the plagues. Reggae artists spoke of Babylon and Zion, not because they were borrowing someone else's story, but because they recognized themselves in it. The Torah allows, even demands, that our story be big enough to carry others. But that also means something demanding of us. If others can see themselves in our liberation, then our freedom carries responsibility. We are not only beneficiaries of redemption, we are its witnesses, we are its stewards. The verse on the Liberty Bell comes from our Torah. Proclaim liberty throughout the land to all its inhabitants. Not liberty for some, not freedom for those who look like us or who live like us, liberty to all its inhabitants. That does not mean erasing difference. It means using our rootedness to model what moral freedom looks like. The Erev Rav, the mixed multitude, reminds us that Jewish freedom was never meant to end at our doorstep. The mezuzah stands on the doorpost not to keep the world out, but to remind us how to walk into it. Dr. King understood that. The prophets of Israel understood that. And somehow, reggae musicians singing ancient Hebrew words understood that too. Freedom that does not expand eventually collapses inward. So, Parashah Bo asks us a question that it is as urgent now as it was then. Can we be a people with strong boundaries and yet open doors and open hearts? Can we know who we are and still walk with others toward dignity and justice? Can we proclaim liberty as a way of life? Every generation tells the story of freedom, but the question is always the same. Who gets to walk out together? The Exodus does not end in Egypt. It echoes through history because it carries a universal promise. That slavery is not the final word, that power is not ultimate, that history can change, and that freedom, real true freedom, is something we move forward together. May we be worthy carriers of that message, and may we walk with courage. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom?